Before Cross gets on here, I'll just ask everybody who's in the space early, go ahead and go down to the bottom right-hand corner where that little text bubble pops up. Go ahead and leave a comment on the space. Talk about a Cross, talk about Granary, whatever you want to do. But we appreciate y'all's participation. Also, hello, Across.
Hello.
Who's
How
on that
are
account today?
ya? This is Britt.
Britt. Hi, Britt. I'm Flu. Nice to meet you. Well, nice to meet you again.
Yeah, good to re-meet you. And
Re-meet you. That's the whole thing there.
Yeah, re-meet you. Yeah, thanks for the prompt there for folks to hop on. And also, I just want to add to that, take a minute and go share this space. Either tweet about it, retweet about it, share it in Discord. Go rake in all the friends. Bring them here.
And when I say that, I mean you gotta be
Absolutely. And if you don't follow a Cross protocol and you're only here because you're good at trolling me on this account, Jake, make sure to follow a Cross because they're way more professional than we are in terms of our social media presence. So,
I mean, we try. I not me. I don't try, but the normal stewards of the social media try.
yeah.
So feel free to troll away.
I don't know. I've went pretty far with it. I've done some pretty crazy memes in the last few weeks. I did one that was a joke, and it was just like I was just making a joke. I was like, the only airdrop that we're doing before our actual airdrop is D's, and I didn't bot it. I didn't promote it. I didn't do anything to make it fly off the handle. I was just like, oh yeah, register here, leave your ENS or 0x address to have a D's airdrop. And like 8,000 comments later, and I'm just like, that was a mistake.
Was a good one though, probably.
Because now
got some good followers.
Now people are like, where's D's?
Yeah, you walked right into that one. You're gonna hear about that one for a while, but it's okay.
I don't know. I've got plans. I've actually got a team that's come to me, and they're talking about doing it. So they're gonna do like an airdrop to everyone that was on that thing. So we'll see. Also, Samson is here from the Byte Masons. If you wanted to invite Samson and Crypto AS.
Oh sure, yeah. Yeah,
so I believe the AS and Samson are in that chat that we're in.
Indeed. I think I just invited Samson, and then where is Crypto?
He's got a black and white profile picture.
Oh, there you are. Yep. Cool. Nice. Both are welcome up on stage if you'd like. You're also welcome to hop back down at any point if you'd like, since you didn't. I don't know if you knew that we were putting you up on stage, but thanks for joining us. I think we've given a little bit of time for folks to get here, so let's go ahead and kick it off. Thank you guys all for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here. I will go ahead and ask you to open us up with a nice intro. Give us an overview of yourself, your team, a bit about the Granary and your community.
Awesome. All right. So I'm gonna introduce the Granary. Samson, you can introduce the Byte Masons here in a second. So the Granary is a separate entity technically from the Byte Masons, but we were started because like me and a couple other degen kind of shitcoin type people were really upset with like a lot of the lending markets that were out at the time that seemed to be really predatory, like hyperinflationary, and were just like kind of paying themselves out first before they would do anything regarding their community. Like it just wasn't really a priority. And I don't need to name any names there. I'm sure that everyone knows exactly which ones I'm talking about. But we were like, well, what if we did like a lending protocol, but we did it right? What if we did it and we got like a bunch of really respected developers to do it, made sure that it was trusted, and just like didn't launch a token for a long time. Didn't launch a token until we'd actually built something, and make sure that all of the benefit from the token goes back to the token holders. And like it was a really simple idea, and then it's taken like a year and a half past that point to kind of get where we are now. And we got where we are now by bringing on the Byte Masons to be that development side. And the first gentleman that we picked up for development was Phantom Menace, and Phantom Menace is now Byte Mason. So it's been a really good partnership, really good process building together. Samson, would you like to introduce the Byte Masons?
Sure, thanks. So yeah, the Byte Masons we're a team of about 25 that build basically incredible smart contract systems. Not to toot our own horn, but like Flu said, we have a bit more of an altruistic approach. What we're trying to make is designed to share the grain as opposed to sort of hoard the grain, which is what we've seen in the past with other protocols. But the Byte Masons, we primarily started on Phantom. We now operate on 7 chains total, and we're pretty blessed. We feel like we have a really good connection in the space. People will come to us for advice on how to secure their projects, and yeah, it's a really big honor to be here on the stage with Mr. Flu and the Granary team as we step closer to Granary launching on Arbitrum in a big way. So thanks for having us up.
Absolutely. And Across, would you like to introduce your own platform? Because I know that there's a bunch of people that I see in the audience that are from the kind of Granary community. I'd love for them to learn a little bit more about Across. And are you guys like Arbitrum native? Where did you come from?
Absolutely. Yeah, happy to. So Across is a cross-chain bridge. We started out supporting traffic going only from L2s L2 optimistic rollups back to Ethereum mainnet. So we launched on Arbitrum and Optimism, and I wonder if we launched on Boba or if that was shortly after. But we were designed specifically for that at first. Since then, we also added the ability to bridge back the other way, so to and from L2s, and we've expanded to Polygon as well. And then right now we are working on some cool stuff that should help us to reach any other chain that we need to go to. So I don't want to give too many spoilers. I see Clayton out there listening, so I don't want to give anything big away. I might get in trouble. But yeah, so we help to connect all the L2s that folks are working on, and yeah, that's a bit about us. We I guess I could go on a bit more, but
well, I mean, you guys are going to be instrumental in like the new base network, like that sort of stuff, and then all of the optimistic L2s that are going to come from other people utilizing Optimism's basically roll up, like forkable roll up. They're like the IBC of L2s now, right? So are you guys going to be supporting all of those different ones? Or are you going to be like the Kepler but with better interface?
yeah, we'll see. I think it kind of does depend a bit on how different these like upcoming chains are from the existing ones. If they're pretty much just a direct fork, plus or minus, it's a lot easier to implement, and those tend to go a bit quicker. That's why we were able to support Boba so quickly, even though their traffic has died down quite a bit. But yeah, we'll see. We hope to be an early actor on some of the new chains, and we're also hoping to pay a bit more attention upcoming to some of the like ZK stuff coming out. ZK Sync is on our radar, as well as like Avalanche and BSC are coming soon. So
Awesome.
yeah.
If you ever want to intro to the team over at Findora as well, that's another ZK chain that's actually like live right now. So anyway, yeah, I'll message you about that.
Nice.
Samson,
Yeah,
bro, what are we doing?
Oh, what aren't we doing, Flu? There's so much going on right now in our neck of the woods.
You're making a stable coin over there, right?
Yeah, that's right. We've got a new protocol coming called Ethos Reserve, which is launching on Optimism first. Pretty excited to intro the Across community to it in the near future once it's live. It's just finishing up a Code for Arena audit at the moment. So hopefully sometime in March we're live with the protocol and everyone can come try it out. And would love to, intro this to the Across community when it's ready. But Flu, everyone's here to learn a bit more about Granary. I have some exciting news about Granary and Arbitrum, and that is that we recently finalized a partnership with Balancer to launch some boosted pools. So if you go to the Balancer-Arbitrum deployment, you'll see there's a USDC DAI USDT pool, which the underlying assets are sent actually to the Granary to earn additional yield. Now, there's a portion that stays in the pool to be traded so as to not disrupt the traders' flow. And if traders need it more, they can actually withdraw, assuming the liquidity hasn't been borrowed out on Granary. But the extra alpha for that is actually that there's going to be some borrow side incentives coming to Arbitrum soon, also on those 3 stablecoins. So right now, I think the market size is, Granary is basically deployed Arbitrum, but hasn't really arrived on Arbitrum. So this is the first sort of step into the space a bit more seriously, and we really look forward to growing the market with Arbitrum and trying to cement this. The Granary is the best place to lend and borrow just because you get the best rate, the best deal, and it's available on all of the chains that you want as well. So quite an exciting development, Flu, where starting to see the TVL roll in now to those vaults. So quite excited to see it tick up in Granary, and as people discover why you would use Granary even without a token, it is usually far more competitive than any of the other lending market counterparts. It's quite an exciting time to be getting involved in the Granary. I mean, maybe Flu, you could tease everyone with some of the benefits of using Granary and maybe what people could expect in the coming weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's really like kind of important about what he just said is that like it is more competitive because we take less of a reserve factor than basically anybody else. Less than Aave, less than Geist, less than whomever. So all of that interest that gets generated is generated just to the users, so like that, it's not us reaching in and taking like a huge cut or anything. And that cut will change whenever we start the token. But even then, that token, that's what the token is made for, is to be able to reward the community and reward the people that are in the token, not just people that are like trying to like farm for airdrops or something silly like that. So that's really like what we're trying to do with Granary V2. Though we're gonna have kind of like boosted pools of our own that are like native to the actual lending environment, and then we're going to be using those to generate like kind of a bunch of yield in different spots and give you basically exposure to a lot of different ecosystems just by holding that one token. Something that we've not talked about that much yet, but like holding the token on any chain entitles you to the fees from all of the chains. And so it's a really great method of just like kind of diversifying into DeFi, into a DeFi token, and really being able to track the market as a whole. So if you believe in DeFi in general, and you believe in kind of like different projects that and products that the Byte Masons have helped build, then it's a really good option for a lot of people. Not Balancer, Beethoven X actually uses a Byte Mason product for their Master Chef, right? Reliquary?
Yeah, that's right. They should be implementing that next week, but Reliquary, really briefly, is just an improvement to the old Master Chef contract, which it basically slices up all the staked liquidity into tranches so that you can incentivize people to hold liquidity in the system longer and reward them more for doing so, as opposed to having users lock their funds to try and create a more stable base. So it's hopefully a better user experience for everyone that may have done a token lock and then realized that being liquid is extremely important in a volatile market like this. But Flu, I mean, you touched on it really briefly, but what you said was that once the collateral is deposited, it's sort of farmed out and earning additional yield. Is that right, or am I jumping ahead?
No, that's correct. Like it's
So this is a big deal, right? Because I mean that's how normally a traditional bank that most of us would be familiar with will make their money, right? You deposit your hard-earned dollars from work, and then I think where I live, about 5% of that money actually needs to be there, and the other 95% of that is actually lent out to other services, other products or loans or whatever else. So we're hoping to create, obviously, a much more risk-adverse system, and one that's completely on-chain and transparent. And it should feel like the evolution of DeFi is stepping closer to TradFi and banking through the Granary. So when you deposit your USDC, it will actually, similar to that Balancer boosted pool that we briefly covered, you can expect that to route through to basically a private vault for Granary that is built on the Reaper.farm technology, which the Byte Masons manage. We've been managing that for a bit over 2 years now, so we're getting pretty experienced at seeking out the best yield, and most of our users will be quite familiar with us from that background, and we look forward to leveraging that expertise, but now for the Granary, and then trying to build a really competitive yield product that not only gives users the new tools and ways to leverage their assets, but also to grow their assets like never before.
Right on. That's awesome. I've loved hearing you guys both talk as like separate entities, but so intertwined. I'm kind of amazed at how you guys are definitely the same, but also definitely separate. It's like nothing I've ever seen. It's amazing. One of my questions I was meant to ask you was, why do you think you've seen such exponential growth in such a short period of time? But I feel like that just is exactly what you've covered right now. Is there anything else that you wanted to add on that front, or
Shit posting?
Yeah. Shit posting,
Yep.
definitely. We have the best shit posters in Twitter, and I'd say ambition as well is what attracts people to us. People, they want to be in the next big thing, and I think when they see what we're cooking up, it is hard to not see the benefits and how massive this could really be. So I think a lot of people just get excited about a project that is looking to get to such scale and to effectively distribute that to the community much more succinctly than other projects.
Yeah, the way that our structure is set up, and the way that we don't take much out of everything, like we've really kind of like forced ourselves into a decision where like we need to be the next $1 billion protocol, so we're going to do everything that it takes to get there, right? Because that's the only way that like it's going to return most of the value to the community, and to keep it that way and to make that sustainable is we have to be huge. And so the steps that we all take to get there, that they're all functional around like making the best product possible so that we're like the most obvious choice. And so we always have to play and do everything that's right for the community, because that's who we're answerable to. We're not answerable to any VC. We're not answerable to any like private investor. We're not answerable to anyone other than the community. And so I think that honestly, as far as in like an ethos perspective, not to play a pun on the new stablecoin platform, but as from an ethos perspective, just like making sure that like you're answerable mostly to the community above all else. I think that's like super critical, and something that we've done really well up to this point, and we're going to continue to do. So,
amen to that. Yeah, I love that. We'll race you guys to be the next $1 billion protocol. How about that?
absolutely.
I loved what you guys were saying though about sort of like the voluntary locking. I just wanted to share for anybody listening from just the Granary side who's not familiar with the cross, that's how we do our current rewards incentive system as well for LPs. Where it's voluntary. The longer you stay in the pool, the more ACX you earn. But there's no locking where it's mandatory for a certain amount of time. You can leave at any point, but if you do, you lose that benefit. And we've seen tremendous success with that. People love that. So it's cool to hear about other protocols doing the same thing.
That's awesome. So glad. I feel like you're ahead of the curve on that one. And I think we'll start to see, once other teams realize how much more of a better experience this is for everyone else that, can't operate on a 4-year timeline, for example, but still want to have, good emissions and a powerful say, One thing about the reliquary, and I'm not sure if your solution covers this, but basically it turns it into an NFT as well. So users can actually then use that as collateral, or use that as, not that there is a place that accepts that yet, but they can use it throughout DeFi. It's just another piece of the DeFi Lego. And you'd be able to essentially sell this position that has the maturity attached to it. So we actually are trying to increase the value that users can get when they engage with these governance and staking systems. And we're really excited for Beethoven, who are going to be launching theirs on Wednesday. So users will be able to come and get the first relics. And the Byte Mason solution for the Oath ecosystem, I don't want to introduce too much for everyone, sorry, but that's also coming quite soon. So yeah, hopefully we see more of this maturity based thinking where users don't have to lock. I mean, voting escrow systems just seem a bit dated at the moment.
It's like most of my capital that I've deployed into like DeFi over time just feels like it's in the Hotel California, where like I've checked in but I can never check out,
Yeah, no, I hear you. I love that you turned staking into an NFT. I think we talked about that at one point during our development, but it didn't manifest that way. So I'll have to go check out how you guys have done it, because I think that's really cool to be able to trade on
Sure.
not only the value of your position, but the collectability of your position.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, it's open source. Recommend you come check it out. I can definitely provide you a link. We want everyone to upgrade. This is meant to be, we're all about building public goods, and we want this to be our contribution to a more sustainable DeFi system, that can, I think you'll find the theme of the Byte Masons is like making DeFi as competitive as TradFi. So we're all about bringing user costs down. We're all about increasing user reward, improving user experience, and making it easier. And the Granary is going to be the manifestation of a lot of these things, but in the form of a lending market. So we want the best-in-class yield. We want the ultimate, coverage and experience, low gas. We want the best assets covered, the fastest, and we also want the best security. So even in the past, there's been incidents with, I don't want to name names, but some markets have been slow to respond to changing conditions, let's say. And we hope to be different, despite being on now 7 chains. All of us sit here pretty much nonstop, 24/7, monitoring these things. It's our lives, it's our blood, and it's our oath. And we really are passionate about making sure that we're delivering the best product to the market possible, really.
Speed round. Can you really quick name off all the chains that you're present on for us?
Arbitrum, Phantom, Optimism, Avalanche, Ethereum,
Metis.
BSC,
Metis is the last one.
Matisse. Yeah.
Nice.
Is it Matisse?
It's okay. So remember, we had that one meeting with the core team, and they're like, "It's Matisse." I was like, "Okay, cool. All right.
All right.
Never forget
My bad.
I can
Don't piss
confirm
off
that.
Vitalik's mom, my guy.
I can confirm that. Awesome. So next, I'm going to take a quick turn, and we'll talk about your brand really quick. So tell me why you chose to lean into the farming branding aspect of it, and is that something that you guys still hold important today, or just paint us a picture about the meaning of farming for you guys?
So it really came from two things. Like one, Granary is actually a play on the original merchant banks in like Venice, where like farmers were really lending grain to each other, and so that was the reason for it. Is like Granary, like silo, it all makes sense, right? However, back whenever this was all being like ideated, there were a lot of different themes for every chain. Like Phantom was spooky, and Harmony was mostly rugs. No, wait, sorry. Harmony was mostly GameFi, and then there was like all of these other ones that were like futuristic. Like Optimism was futuristic, and Luna was like space themed, and like all of this other stuff. But no matter what, all everyone was doing on any chain was farming. So we wanted like the most generalized thing that could go to every single chain and be fitting. And I think that's something that definitely like vibes with most of the people in the degen and like DeFi space, is that we're all just farming. We're all just farming. We're just all farming yield. And so having that very, very general theme that could be identifiable to everyone was really important.
And I mean, as the project developed as well, obviously this idea of rehypothecating the assets and earning that yield or farming that yield, it sort of just became a harmonious, self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, because Granary is going to be one of the most effective farmers in the galaxy. It's really going to be, it's going to have a lot of weight, and our challenge is going to be scaling up this yield from the billions into the trillions, we hope, as our main challenge. So the Granary and the farming ethos is, I think, universal. I think you did a great job explaining that, Flu.
Awesome.
I should hope so. I'm the one who came up with it.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Love it.
It makes sense, right?
Totally.
Anyway, sorry. I'm sometimes mean to Samson. Anyway.
It's okay. It feels like a brotherly love. I'll say that on behalf of all the listeners. So it's all good. So since we have a giveaway today, can you tell us a bit about the Oath token and how it bolsters the protocol? And then I'll bring people back in that last couple minutes to talk about that giveaway.
So it might be a little confusing because Oath isn't really exactly related to Grain. It's more of the token for the Reaper farm system underneath Granary. So there is a product connection there. But really, there's no Grain yet. Grain is still going to be having a fair launch LGE event or a liquidity generation event. If you've never participated in one of these, I would highly recommend you follow the Granary channel and start to learn more about it. There's going to be some more information coming in the near future. But the Oath is a governance token that covers 3 protocols. We mentioned Ethos Reserve at the start. We then talked about Reliquary. Now, the implementation of Reliquary is actually called Digit, so the protocol is called Digit, and the MasterChef technology equivalent is called Reliquary. I hope I'm being clear. And then the third protocol is Reaper Farm. And so Oath manages those 3 protocols to effectively create the best ecosystem possible. And our objective is to create a zero-sum baseline for token growth. So most protocols, whether they realize it at first or not, they over-emit and they overspend. And before they know it, there's a massive black hole on their balance sheet. And there's not really much coming back from that. So we've tried to look into the crystal ball and create the world's greatest Excel sheet that can help us design a system that, when it emits tokens, it emits at least as much as it earns, so that we've got like a zero-sum baseline where the protocols are generating enough revenue and demand to offset the emissions. And if we can create an effective flywheel system, then it should, hopefully lead to some really positive growth for Oath, and thereby increasing the incentives and thereby also attracting more yield, and the cycle then repeats. So Oath is a pretty exciting token. It's been out for about a year now, and if anyone, I know there's some Oath maxis in the audience, that they could tell you it's getting pretty heated over in the Oath ecosystem. So good luck to all the entrants today, and I hope you guys can, if you do win, you can come and check out how to get involved and how to participate. We think it's a pretty special system that is equal to Granary, but for those that missed it at the start, there's definitely separate entities. So I can appreciate there may be some confusion in the incentive. And when Across reached out, it just made more sense to cover Granary at the moment. It's the main sort of protocol on Arbitrum. Ethos Reserve will be coming to Arbitrum eventually, so you can expect to see some more Oath protocols there, and also Reaper Farm is available on Arbitrum, but we currently only cover the Radiant vaults, which are okay, but they're going to be kind of a bit dated soon. So we're getting Granary kicked in, and we're really looking forward to launching multi-strategies and bringing basically the same service that people have come to expect from our deployments on Optimism and Phantom over to now Arbitrum. So yeah, pretty exciting times. And again, good luck to all entrants for the Oath. Anything to add on that, Flu?
Yeah, a little bit. You actually touched on something that I wanted to mention because you're talking about like generating more yield than what you use, and it's or you give out. And something that we latched onto very very early was like the 80-20 model for distribution and rewards. And the side that you really want to reward in a lending platform is actually the borrow side, because that's actually where the platform makes money. So you don't really want to like throw all of your rewards to people who are just like throwing things in there and just like sitting on it, right? Like they can deal with less yield from it in terms of like the native token, because they're already getting the rewards in the in like the single staked asset. And so the part that you actually want to reward people for is actually primarily on the borrow side, since that's actually where the actual real yield is generated. And it's part of the thing that makes the whole like flywheel, like you mentioned, work so well. So just as to like now that was just as a brief explainer as to why it's different from existing protocols that seem to do like a 50-50 distribution of reward tokens, kind of not really incentivizing the right behavior on the platform.
I love that idea. It's a cross model acts more as a lending model than like an AMM style bridge, and that is something that I actually think I'll share with the team. That's an interesting thought to more heavily incentivize the people who are paying you than the people
Right.
who you're paying.
It sort of is overlooked a bit too often, I think, by newcomers as well, right? Like it's very obvious when you lay it out like that. But the Granary is hopefully going to be setting the trend in a lot of these areas and showing that there is a better way to generate yield, distribute yield, and create a healthy platform that, with incentivizing more borrows as well, it just, everything becomes much more active.
Absolutely.
So you just start forcing users to engage in what the protocol is meant to be doing.
Absolutely. What a time to be alive, everyone. I love it. I will go ahead and wrap us up now. I have captured our audience here today, and we will go ahead and be selecting a couple of winners after this call, and they will be receiving some oath. We have $200 worth of oath to give away, and so stay tuned for a tweet announcing our winners on that. And I wanted to again thank our wonderful visitors today, Flu from the Granary and Samson. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It was a blast talking to you guys. You're some cool people. I hope that we can do this again sometime soon.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Thanks, Britt.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us. I'm really looking forward to doing another one in the near term.
Awesome. See you guys soon. Everyone, take care. Thanks. Bye.